Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we are looking at another BLON. Still waiting for the BL-01 to come in. We'll get right on that, depending on the order. I have this whole paper right here. I have a list of things I'm waiting. With 11/11 and the holiday season and the virus, the mail's extremely slow. Bear with me. Plus, I have relatives that are very ill right now. That all combined, you know, I'm not going to give excuses why I didn't make any videos. I don't have much to make a video on. Hopefully soon that changes, and I will dive in and I will start bringing you guys more content. That said, those who celebrated the, holiday, I wish you good holidays ahead. And for those of you not celebrating the holidays, I wish you good days ahead. Let's get into the review. This is the BL-T3. I'm using a body-mounted camera, by the way, because I started this video, I started at the video before, and I actually liked the way it was coming out until the gimbal snapped. So I don't have the gimbal right now. So we'll be using this one. So as you can see, it comes in the, very similar, maybe, not as long, but the BLON box with that majestic writing right there. Very inspirational to never give up, let your music burn, and have some belief. Not to mention, it's a party every day. That said, the iconic box goes off to the side. Let's move this camera over here a little bit where it's a little more stable. Try to adjust this. There we go. Okay, let's get into looking at the BL-T3, which is unusual. It's a fixed cable BLON. The cable itself, decent thickness to it. It's got a coating, as you can see, that is see-throughness off to the side. It's got a nice coating to it. Seems to be a rugged cable. The fittings are metal. There's actually writing on there in white, which you really can't make out in this. Maybe I should have gotten the gunmetal. It would have been easier. A metal splitter as well. Then the cable gets thinner, which I wish it didn't, because these actually have some weight to them. So they really do. They got a decent amount of weight, and they're not uncomfortable in the ears, but these do have some heft. I mean, you could use this as a bolo if you really wanted to. Looking at the shape, it's very organic. It fits in the ear, comfortable, but the tip is going to determine whether it stays in the ear. It came default with those pointy tips. I've heard some people actually like those tips. Personally, I don't like them, and I don't like what they do to the music to me. It literally robs them of all the bass and makes them sound like I'm listening to music through a tin can. These tips did a decent amount of job. I did not use these tips. I tried foam, and I believe I went with the spin fits in the end. Worked out as good for me. Also, another one that works out good with me is the TRN tips. Absolutely love those as well. Get a nice look there. There you see the vents in the back. Construction on these is very good. The only complaint I would say is, number one, it's a fixed cable, and number two, I would have liked this a little bit thicker or a little bit better strain relief right there than this little tiny area. I suppose you could probably get some tape and tape these back to give it a little bit more strain relief, since they do have some weight to them. They fit in the air comfortable. You don't notice the weight once it's in the air. Once you get the right amount of tips, you get a good seal on these. So comfort-wise, build-wise, these are excellent. Remember, these are under 20 bucks. So I would definitely say these are like a good throw in your backpack and take with you because you don't want your, expensive pair of IAMs to be either ruined by the rain or stolen or lost or damaged or squished or anything like that. Here's a good pair to buy for cheap, and they sound decent enough, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. Looking here on the back, we have a 16 ohm at 108 decibels, means they can be basically run decent by anything. The model, of course, is the BL-T3. It terminates to a 3.5 millimeter gold-plated connection. It has an 11 millimeter dynamic driver, 20 to 20 kilohertz, and the cable length is 1.2 meters. So that is decent overall. This is a nice little case, decent enough. Looking at the unit themselves, I really like the shape. I think it's great. Let's get into the sound signature, because that's the most important thing. So, you can take that off. You see the nozzles are a little short. All metal construction. I can't fault the construction other than the fact that if it had a removable cable, I would absolutely love these. And the point is, they're tuned safely. There's a very nice, safe tuning to these, and that makes them enjoyable for a lot of different things. Just any type of music. The bass, sub bass, has a very nice bite to it. There's some very good control down in the sub bass. They're very nice, punchy mid bass, and it's not thick. It doesn't bleed very much into the mids. There is some warmth into the mids, and that's actually a quality that I like. So it's not so bad. The mids are surprisingly not recessed and clear. The vocals sound fantastic on this. There's a decent amount of instrument separation. There's a decent amount of details all the way up the frequency. Nice and smooth. The bass doesn't intrude on anything. It's not stepping on anything. It just flows. It's got a nice organic flow to the sound signature. The mids, very clear, warm, detailed, a little forward in the mids, very pleasant overall in its presentation. You get to the highs, the treble. The treble gets right up there to that sparkle point, and then it starts to roll off. It's not overly peaky. There are some good details up in the treble, but it kind of doesn't get harsh. It just has that cutoff point where it's not very harsh at all, and I really appreciate that because I don't like overly harsh, although I can withstand it for a certain amount of times. It's just well done. The whole tuning of this is very safe. And then you get into the sound stage, and it's got above average sound stage. It does have a decent amount of whiff to it, probably because, of the shape, and it's got these little vents and everything else. It just overly, it has a decent presentation. It's not going to wow anybody. It's not the widest sound signature out there. It is wider than it does have depth and height, but it still is far above average, I would say. So it's got some good imaging there as well. The tonality in general of this is decent. This is $20. This is the perfect thing to throw in your bag and not have to worry about you damaging, losing, or something, a good pair of headphones, because it's a safe tuning. I'm not saying throw these in your bag and these are the best sounding ones ever. I'm saying that these sound good. They have a safe sound that goes with just about anything I can think of. From classic to country to death metal, you're going to like these. They're going to be, decent for you. So, comfortable, built well, sounds great, nice and safe tuning, some good bass control there, nice polite highs, very pleasant vocals. The chord, getting to the cons, the chord's a little on the springy side, kind of drives me nuts. It's not a big deal. You do get the sound from the chord if you're moving around a lot. Microphonics. Some feedback. I usually call it feedback from the chord. Not as much as actually some of the nylon cords that I've had on fixed ones. The nylon seems to be in like Kevlar. Just really gives you feedback right into the unit. But it's still there. The cord is springy. It is attached, and they do have a little bit of weight to them, which I didn't find as a problem whatsoever with comfort. Other than that, I think these are great for the price. Once again, thank you so much.